Hello and welcome to Python programming language course. In this series of videos, which this one is the first video, you will learn almost everything to write effective Python scripts. I will start with an introduction to the basic syntax of the Python language. I will explain variables, loops, functions, classes, and more. Then we will move on to more advanced concepts in Python. My name is Naweed Ahmadi and I will be teaching you the Python programming language. In today's video, you will learn the following. First, why you should learn Python programming. Second, I will help you to set up your development environment by explaining the process of downloading and installing Python and a text editor, which for this course I will be using Python IDE or Integrated Development Environment as an editor. And at the end of this video, we will write our first Python program in just a few lines of code. If you're ready, let's jump to our first part. Why learn Python programming? There are many reasons to learn Python language, but I only listed 4 of them here. First one is Python is easy to read, write, and learn. The Python programming language has an easy to learn structure comparing to other object-oriented programming languages like C, Java, and PHP. For example, I brought these code blocks to show you the amount of code required for different programming languages to print a simple string or a single line of text. If you have to print Python is easy to learn, you have to write above 3 lines in Java or 4 lines in C language, whereas in Python just 1 line is sufficient to print. Python is easy to learn. It's that simple. Considering this example, it means in Python you don't have to deal with complex syntax, and this could help anyone to learn coding in Python in a couple of hours or days. Our second reason is Python is a general purpose language. Just to name a few of its common uses, Python is used in machine learning, Internet of Things, data science, web development, game development, network programming, mobile applications, artificial intelligence, business applications, and this list goes on. Python can run on multiple operating systems and has a huge number of tools and libraries that address a large number of programming scenarios. Our third reason is Python is free and has a supportive community. Python is available free of charge, even for commercial purposes, and it's open source, where anyone can contribute to Python development. Along with all these, Python has an online forum where thousands of coders gather daily to improve this language further. Our fourth reason is Python developers are in demand. As of 2021, Python is ranked as the world's second most popular programming language among professional developers. According to Indeed, the average Python programmer salary in the USA is over $110,000 per year, which makes Python the second best paid programming language with only Ruby ahead. So I hope you have understood the Python application and what sets Python apart from every other programming language. Now we will install both Python and PyCharm IDE. You can use below links for downloading the Python and PyCharm IDE. Now let's begin by making sure that Python is properly installed and configured on your computer. So here on my machine, I'm going to open a terminal window by typing cmd into run. Here I'm going to type Python and hit enter. And you can see that I'm using Python 3.9 on my computer. Now, if you didn't get a result that looks like this, you probably got some kind of error message. And that means that Python is not on your computer and you need to install it. So let's visit the Python website by typing www.python.org. Here on the website, I'm going to click on the downloads. You can see here that there is a link to downloads, the latest version, and in this case, it's Python 3.9. So go ahead and download the Python file. After downloading, run the installer and try the terminal test again that we did earlier. And once you have got Python installed, you're ready to continue. To follow along with this video, you will also need a text editor, which for this course I will be using PyCharm IDE, which is used specifically for the Python language. I'm going to open my browser and open the PyCharm website by typing www.jetbrains.com/PyCharm. And this is where we'll download PyCharm IDE. Here in the website, just press this download button and it will bring you to this separate download page where you will notice over here two download buttons, one for professional version and one for community version, which is free and open source. PyCharm community is the free version and that's what we have going to use. If you like to see the differences, there's a list of all the features that are available in the pay version that are not available in the free version. So let's download the community version and run the installer. Now we will click on the PyCharm community file and we'll run the installer. So here we will click next. The destination folder is, I will leave the destination folder as it is, and I will click next, and I will click next, and then install. And click finish. Now that we have Python installed and our tool set up, it's time to start writing some actual Python code. But before jumping into our text editor and starting writing code, we are first going to use Python's interpreted mode in the command line interface to see how easy it is to write and run Python. So I have opened my terminal program by typing cmd into run, and you can do the same thing on your computer. And in my terminal, I'm going to write the word Python. Just remember, on your computer, if you're on Mac or Linux, it might be Python 3 for you. So on Windows, it's just Python. So I'm going to hit enter. And when I execute the Python command just by itself, this places me into Python's interpreted mode. So right here, you can see the version for Python that I'm using. It's version 3.9. Now in this mode, I can just simply type some Python code and it will run immediately. For example, if I just write 5 plus 5, you can see the answer is 10. If I write 8 minus 3 and hit enter, you can see the answer is 5. So Python, like JavaScript, is an interpreted language. In other words, it's not like Java or C or C++. The application does not need to be compiled before you can run it. The Python interpreter simply takes each line of code and interprets and executes it. So let me write another line of code. I'm going to write print and then open quote, open parentheses, open quote, and string Python is easy to learn, close quote, close parentheses, and press enter. And now you can see I have executed a simple Python statement print, which is a built-in Python function along with the string Python is easy to learn. One more thing, I'm going to write name equal to, and then I'm going to call the function input. And then I'm going to have a string that says, what's your name? Space, close quote, close parentheses, and enter. You can see the Python is running the input function and it's waiting for me to enter a name. So I will write in Nawid and then hit enter. So now I have created a variable called name, which contains the value that this input function asks for. So if I just type the word name and hit enter, you can see that I get the value back that the name variable contains. Normally, this is not how you would write and run your Python programs. I mean, real Python programs are going to be a lot more complex than this. But you can use the Python interpreter in command line mode to try out simple things. So let's type the word exit along with an open and close parentheses to exit the Python interpreter. Okay, so we have seen how to write and execute some basic Python statements. So let's start up PyCharm IDE and write our first Python program. The first time you run PyCharm IDE, you get this little window asking to create a new project. So we can click create new project, name our project, I will say Python, and we could say create. To create our Python file, right click on project file, select new, select Python file, and name your file. In our case, we will name it app and hit enter. So here we are in PyCharm, and I'm going to write print hello world. The purpose of hello world is to validate your development environment. Whenever you set up a new development environment, it's a good idea to use a simple program to confirm that your development cycle functions as you expect. And that's what hello world is for. Okay, when I run it, from here, app, enter, you see the output says hello world. So that validates that our development environment is functioning. So now let's add another line of code asking user to enter their name. So I'll have name equal to input. What's your name? And in the next line, I will print nice to meet you, comma, name. After running our code, again, the first line displays hello world, and in the next line it says what's your name. After entering my name Naweed, it prints nice to meet you Naweed. So this was our first Python program, and you don't need to worry about what's variable or function. In this video we will cover everything in the coming videos in detail, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you.